Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Sorry about that. Wasn't feeling amazing today, but you know what? We are here. It is Friday, and I am so happy that it is Friday. Because it's going to be a busy Friday for me. So we're going to make this message very quick. As a reminder, next week, I know next week is going to be all recordings, live recordings. But what I'm gonna do next week is I'm gonna have the replays of the top 5 videos from my YouTube channel. So they're gonna like kind of, it's not gonna be a theme next week. You're just gonna get the top 5 videos that have played on my YouTube channel over the years. So I'm excited about that. Good morning, Paula. Good morning, Friday. I definitely didn't want to not acknowledge you this morning while you was in the waiting, but we are here. And so today's conversation, we're continuing talking about trailblazers, trailblazing, um, and just really embracing what does that look like for the person that doesn't know that they're a trailblazer. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, Jen. Right? What does that look like for the person that doesn't know that they are a trailblazer? How can they start to identify these different traits within themselves? And so that's what I want to talk about. You know, we went over a few things over the week. So I'm just looking at my notes from the first part of the conversation. Again, you can go back and you can look at those messages mainly from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, right? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we started to talk about trailblazing and, that trailblazing looks like healing. Ordinary doesn't mean that you're uninspired. The ripple effects of your presence, the invisible influence, right? So these are different things that we have spoke about. And again, I'm speaking to the trailblazer that hasn't identified as a trailblazer yet. The person who is still sitting there contemplating. You have these ideas, you have these big ideas, you have these big dreams, and you're probably like the only person in your circle, whether it's your friend circle, your family, who is understanding, or who is like, I'm feeling this, and you're not sure what to do with these feelings. Are these valid or not? And today we're going to talk about validation, right? So often, a lot of dreams don't happen because people are always waiting for validation from others, right? Others telling them, yes, you should go after it. Yes, this is the best thing for you to do. They're waiting for someone to say the thumbs up for you to move forward instead of for you to remember this is your vision. This is the ideas and the dreams that God placed within you. And so you have to realize whether it's your purpose, it's just a goal that you have, whether it could be your purpose or not. It doesn't require anyone giving you the stamp of approval, right? It doesn't require anyone in the public saying, yes, this is not a community forum, right? Where like we think about like in our communities, they want to open up a new business. They might have to come to the community meeting and get the stamp of approval from everyone in there or from majority. That's not this, right? You don't have to do that. As a trailblazer, the moment that is placed within you and you believe that this is something that is possible, even if you don't believe that it's possible, the fact that it was given to you, I'm letting you know that it is possible, right? Hold on. Why is the Wi-Fi? Why is the connection low? So let's do something real quick. All right. Sorry, I always know this. Like StreamYard will let me know, so I'll be like, what's going on? All right. And so like I know I had mentioned on Wednesday, like a lot of us, we get started. A lot of us, we get started not even realizing that we are on a journey of being a trailblazer, right? So that's the beautiful part about it. You might be already on that path. You might be already in that direction, but you don't even realize that you are a trailblazer, that the journey has already began and it's started, right? But a lot of us, we do get started unnoticed. We do get started in isolation. And I always talk about my weight loss journey. One Ebola, my weight loss journey was just like that. And I think I spoke about that like Monday or Tuesday. With the first 30 days, I didn't announce it. I didn't post any pictures. There was nothing on social media, nothing about what happened. when I was, that aha moment in my bedroom on that Monday night. Not that I started this journey by myself, solo, just me and God, and He's giving me all the answers. And when I got to the point where I'm doing the things that I'm doing, people started to notice, right? People started to come to me and saying, "Hey, can you share about how you did this? Can you share?" That's how I started to share. And I remember back then, like, blogs was like becoming really, really big. Everyone had a blog, and people were always sharing other people's testimonies and success stories. And that's when I started to share, because other people were reaching out and telling me, "Hey, you should share this on this platform," because someone can be inspired by that. That was not something that I was personally looking to do. I was just on that journey by myself. Right. So the trailblazer in me was ignited and was sparked back in 2014. Well, 2012. God, 2012. It's been a long journey, right? But I didn't have anyone rooting for me. I had no one stamp of approval. I was just in the motion because this was something that was personal, and it started by myself, and it started to just captivate other people's attention. And now they were coming to me seeking advice and support. So sometimes you don't realize that the journey is already there and that people are already inspired. They already want to take action with you, or because of you, right? Sometimes they may not work with you. And I had to learn that, right? A lot of people will be inspired by me, but they never worked with me. But they went out there and they still did whatever they needed to do within themselves. And, a lot of times I would just encourage them, have that conversation with God, because that was what got me started in my own journey. And so I've always been an advocate for that, always been a person that, want people to have those personal conversations with God, because that's where my strength came from. It didn't come from, this magical power. It came from God, right? I give all credit to that. So you can always look through different biblical stories, and you can understand just like how many of us have started, right, alone, isolated, right? And we're not really alone. You are starting with God. The other thing is that you have to be faithful when you are in the unseen seasons, right? It's hard when people are not getting that, thumbs up, the heart emojis on the post, and then staying consistent with that, because being faithful is alongside of being consistent. So a lot of us are not being consistent because we're waiting for someone to come and say, "You're doing the right thing." Right. And I always make reference to the book, The Dream Giver. I highly recommend anyone that's in this season, that space, that feels like you're about to do something first in your community, your family, you need to read that book, right? It's by Bruce Wilkinson. I wish I had the book next to me, but it is definitely available on Amazon. It's in the bookstores. It's been around for years. I stumbled upon that book in 2016 and have probably reread that book about 7 times, right? Because it's a quick read, but it literally will outline to you the things that you're going to do. And there's going to be a season where you're not going to be seen, right? And you still got to realize, like, I got to get up and still have that momentum. I still got to get up and I have to go out there and do all those different things, even though right now, no one knows what I'm doing. No one sees the work that I'm doing, and I think that The Dream Giver, the book is called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. um Amazing read, right? And that's where we have to, where I talk about obedience is a huge thing. Obedience, typically people want to be obedient when it's public knowledge, right? They want to be obedient when they have an audience, but God loves the obedience when it's in private, right? He wants to see, are you going to be obedient? Are you still going to do exactly what he told you to do, despite the fact that no one is recognizing, no one is seeing what you're doing, that this is a quiet, unseen season? And so I want you to realize that that work that you do in that unseen season is so critical, and is going to help you as you are on this journey, right? You're going to build, at least for me, when I built that, and when I built my that lifestyle in that quiet season that no one saw, it made me realize just how strong I was and how capable I was. I had to prove a lot to myself. And I think for so many people, we're always trying to prove ourselves to other people. I had to prove for me, right? So being, especially talking about weight loss, I right before that, I had attempted to get weight loss surgery 3 times and I was denied 3 times. And I now, the last time, Dr. Jacob, I always talk about Dr. Jacob because poor man, he dealt with a lot dealing with me, but he told me, he was like, I don't think you need this. Um, I don't think you need the surgery. I think you gotta just, focus. He gave me some tips and I just spazzed on that man. But when I realized like I had to go through that for a particular reason. Other people went through that journey, but I had to just prove to myself that yes, Tanisha, you can drink water every single day. Yes, I already love fruit, but yes, you can have this magical relationship with vegetables, and you can learn how to love them, and you can learn how to, eat the baked foods versus eating all of the fried foods. Like I really had to go through that. And so I built that endurance. I built all of that in that quiet season. So when I came out on day 31, 20 pounds, 25 pounds later, and people were seeing, it was like, oh wow, that's what you were doing those last couple of days that we didn't see you on social media. People at work saw me, and some of them had questions. They were like, what's going on over there? Like, we see you drinking smoothies, but like, are you really trying? But people are paying attention, right? They're speculating, but they're paying attention. And I just was not focusing on what they were paying attention to. I'm focusing on building this because I know I needed that. Paula said the quiet unseen is a great season. It is. And I love that. And sometimes I do wish that I would have just kept that personal, because it does become overwhelming after a while. But I do understand the purpose of why God needed me to help other people and to share it, because it wasn't just about Tanisha, right? There were other people out there. The one story that have heard many of times, and I had so many students that were giving. Like one student, unfortunately, years ago, she passed away from complications due to weight loss surgery. And I remember when she was struggling, and just the complications were getting started. After the surgery, we had a conversation, and one of the things she had said was like, I wish I would have met you before I went through this process, because she didn't realize all of the side effects that could potentially happen, and they did happen. And I always tell people, I'm like, sometimes that's just what people just need to know. Like, wait, there is another way. Maybe I do need to go speak to another doctor who's going to give me the same message, right? I don't believe that I was the only person that Dr. Jacob ever told that they didn't need this surgery, despite me being over 300 pounds the day that he said that to me. But I do understand that I just had to go a different route and a different way. So, I just want us to sometimes just think about, what are you doing in that quiet season? And that's actually the prompt that I have. I'm going to give you the prompt before I even finish, because this is such a good self-reflection prompt. And I think that it's going to help you. I think this would just help anyone, whether you are a known trailblazer, you are a champion, you are here rocking and rolling. But this is something that came to me that I'm just like, wow, I never realized that sometimes we don't pay attention. But if someone observed my life without hearing a single word from me, what would they believe I stood for? And would I be proud of that? That's a heavy one, right? And I'm giving y'all that on a Friday so y'all can process that over the weekend, okay? If someone doesn't hear anything that you're saying, what would they believe that you stood for? And would you be proud of whatever it is that they said? Right? That's why this isolation, or this unseen season, this quiet season, this season is very important, because it is going to build character, it's going to build integrity, it's going to build your mindset, right? It's going to create a path for your actions, for those steps that you're about to take. It's so critical, right? And so when you're building that, especially when you don't have the negative influences of society, family, the naysayers, the doubters, the dream killers, you're able to really build that. And that's why I say, for me, sometimes it is those first 30 days. Those first 30 days, you might have to just say, I need to shut in, right? Go to work, do my community service, go to church, but I need to lock in and get focused on these 30 days, right? I got to get focused on these next 30 days. And that might just be for all of us. For the next 30 days, what we going to get locked in on? What are we not going to announce, right? We're not going to go on social media and make a whole big post and today is the day that I change. No, we're not doing that. What is it that you are like? God is telling you, I need you to focus on this. I need you to focus on this 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. And that's what I want you to focus on, right? Paula, thank you. I hope this prompt helps someone out there. And Paula said a word I always say, live life as a testimony. I like that. My actions should speak louder than my words. They should. They should, right? We are living in a season where so many people have words, right? But no actions, or the actions just don't match the words. And that's one of the issues that a lot of people are having right now. I always talk about this with like coaches and stuff. People can always talk to you about, the not just even coaches. People can tell you all these different things, but they you don't ever see it, right? And I always think about like in dating. One of the common conversations that I always have is I don't like the people that have to announce, I'm a good person, I'm a good guy, I'm a good this. Your actions, the person, your character should exude, should definitely show that. It should never be that you just have to tell me, right? And I have to only take your word for it. I should be able to see it. And that's why I think that's what we need to really start to do, right? People started to call me a trailblazer ident- before I identified as a trailblazer. People started to call me an inspiration before I. Then people call me pastors and preachers. Not my thing, right? Not saying that I wouldn't be proud of that, but it's something that because they see something within me, right? They see my action. I might not agree with it. I might not want it, but it's like, this is something I'm doing, something that people can see. And this is how they align me. And that is a great thing to be in, right? Hold on. What did Paula say? Was Paula be cracking me over? She was like, we got a whole lot of thought leaders. What are the action leaders? We are the action leaders like Miss Inspiration. Paula, I don't know. They out there, Paula. You know what? They are out there. And I think a lot of them are stuck in their heads, right? They don't believe. A lot of them probably have been told by other people, man, you don't know what you're talking about. A lot of times people associate things with age, right? I think there's a lot of amazing thought leaders out there and action leaders out there who are very young and they're trying to blaze the trails, but they're listening to more seasoned older people who are like, you haven't lived anything. Look, God can give us all kind of wisdom. That's why I'll be like, look, half the things I haven't experienced everything, but God would give me a lot of wisdom. So I pray for those action leaders to come out here. I pray for the people that are going to like literally say, I know everybody's getting tired of, hit the boots hit the ground, right? I know people are tired of that term and that's tired of that song and dance, but this is where we do need some people to put them boots on and hit the ground. Like we need some people out here. Legacies are dying. People are not building those legacies anymore. I spoke earlier this week about Dr. Miles Monroe. He was one of those leaders that I love to follow. I love his teachings. And the beautiful part is that everything was captured. Well, as much was captured, and his family is able to now put that information out there and reproduce it. And it's still relevant for today. Actually, there's a message I gotta listen to that he did that I think I listened to the first time was in 2016, and I need to find that message. But we have to realize like we are preparing for the next generations, legacies, and a lot of this is going to get started before anyone is going to know who you are. Anyone is going to clap for you, right? You have to start seeing it, and you got to get into that quiet season. And like I said, it just keeps hitting me and keeps dropping in my spirit the next 30 days. those first 30 days. So for some people, you might need to get started now for the next 30 days. And then for some people, those first 30 days, just get into a quiet space. Focus on what you need to do. Get very in tune to what God is telling you. Some of you might need to fast. You might need to go out there for fast for 3, 5, 7 days, whatever. Get that quiet space, because it's going to give you the answers. You're going to get that clarity. And then you can start going out there and doing the things. But I guarantee you, what you do in those 30 days, people are going to start to identify and they're going to recognize. People are going to start being concerned in a good way, because they're going to start seeing like, well, what are you over there building, right? You're doing something over there. You're going to spark their interest. And so when you come out, they either going to know what you were doing, or it's just going to like shock them. They're going to be like, wow, you was doing all that whole time. We just never really know how our actions are going to be an impact in a good way to the people that are around us. So that's why we need more trailblazers to step up to the plate, right? We need those people to step up and say, yes, I'm ready to take action. I've been sitting on this idea. I've been sitting on this dream for a long, long time. And I'm ready to take the action because I depend on it. My family, my community, generations thereafter are also dependent on it. And so I don't know, whatever it is that you have to do, whatever it is that's keeping you up at night, you're thinking about it while you're at work, while you're driving, you sit and you journal about it, whatever that idea is, please take action. And so I've been talking about all week. I have a community for those trailblazers, right? For the trailblazer that is getting started, for the person that is like truly saying to themselves, I'm ready for change. I'm ready to step into this new pathway. I have a community. So you can go into my description and you can check it out, right? Right now, it is the first 7 days free trial. You can check it out for 7 days. See if this is a good fit for you, right? And then you can make a decision. But if you are not in that kind of environment, if you're sitting around a bunch of naysayers, dream killers, people that are shooting down every idea that you have, it's time for you to get out of that space, right? So you need to get isolated. Don't talk to those people, right? You love them, we love them, but sometimes they're not good for us and our spirit and our journey, right? Sometimes the enemy is going to use one of the closest people to you to get you off track. And so this is where you got to just learn how to just block it out. Put them headphones, get you some noise cancellation spiritual headphones, right? You don't buy them. Get the spiritual noise cancellation headphones and put them jokers on and block it out, right? Get into that quiet space. Get into a community that can help speak that life into you, to help you push it out. Because I'm telling you, I know what it feels like to sit in your head. I know what being an overthinker is. I know how that can stop us from taking action. And then you're like disappointed in yourself years later, because you're like, I should have on July 11th, I heard Tanisha say this, and I should have, and I had this idea, and I just wish that I would have done it then, right? Whatever their situation is, I'm here to tell you that you can birth it, right? You can birth it. You can walk that path. This is your journey. It's meant for you, right? This is why it was given to you. Don't worry about what other people are doing or how other people, it might be similar, because the beautiful part about being a trailblazer is that you're not the first person to do it, right? You're the first person to do it in your community. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think, well, it has to be first for the first time. No, a lot of these ideas are all recycled ideas. But again, I'm in Oklahoma. So if I have this idea in Oklahoma and it's meant for Oklahoma, you can have the same idea and you can be in Iowa. It still can work, right? Because the people in Iowa may never meet me, but they're gonna know you. They have an opportunity to connect and be there with you. So sometimes we think too big, and then we start talking ourselves out of it until you just focus. Focus, because I'm telling you, that quiet space is gonna give you so much clarity. You might be really overthinking it, and God just might just need you to go outside and hand out bottles of water. And you are here like, I can't buy plastic and I can't. God said, just go to Walmart and get some water. He didn't say start a whole plant. He didn't say go into production. He didn't say go and start get your own well. He didn't say none of that, right? Sometimes we just look at these visions, and because they're so big, you never know. It could get to that point. One day you will have that, but to get started, to be that trailblazer, because I guarantee you, you might be the first person in your family to go out there and do charity. Right? You ever think about that? There are some families that no one has ever gotten up and said, you know, I want to make sandwiches and hand them out to the homeless. That's what a trailblazer, right? Because in your family, no one's done that. But now you're the first one. So it's not just always first generation going to college, first time home buyers. Like these are trailblazing is so huge that it's like, oh, I'm just the first person that's gonna just, like I said, give out bottles of water to the homeless people. Simple, right? I've seen people drive around. Actually, there is a person. I have read it on social media. I never seen the person, but I heard that there's a person like in the summertime because like August, Tulsa can get up until 105 degrees that I've personally experienced, and the person will fill up their coolers with ice water and would drive around and hand them out to like the male people and to the homeless people, and they would just hand out waters. That is they could be the first person in their family to have a nonprofit, right? Because that is technically will fall under the lines of a nonprofit. And this is the simplest thing out there. And for some people out, you're overthinking it. You're trying to make this bigger than, so you just get stuck. And now the people that needs that, they're missing out on that. And if you go back to Wednesday's message, and this was not the first time I ever told this, but again, when we don't do what we're supposed to do, that's blood on our hands. And it could be blood in so many different aspects. So I don't want you to have that experience, right? This is the reason why I get up every single day Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Central, and I do this, right? Why? Because I understand that if I don't use my voice to teach and to speak and inspire people, that could potentially be blood on my hands. And I never want to be responsible for that at all. So I want to encourage you to let whether it's your voice, your gift, your talents, or just something as simple as handing out bottles of water. I want you to go out there and tap into that. And like I said, if you need that community, you need that support, you have a place that you can come to. So look, go into the description and you can definitely sign up and be a part of that. So as a reminder, next week, top 5 of my YouTube videos will be replayed. Next week is a break week, right? I have learned to honor myself and to schedule breaks because I don't want burnout. Because this is something that I just do every day. I'm not getting paid for this, but I love what I do. But I also know that in order for me to keep showing up, I got to schedule breaks. So next week, you will not see me live like this. You'll be seeing amazing videos that I've done over the years. But they're great videos, right? It's Wisdom Week. I love that. I love that. We're gonna coin that. We're gonna coin that for a little. So next week is gonna be Wisdom Week. So we're gonna get some teaching about side hustles. We can't. So yesterday was the 3 ways to boost your confidence. So we're not going to replay that one, but I know that's one of my top videos. So we're going to get some side hustle videos. So you need some ideas of how to make some extra money. That one of those videos is going to be there. We're going to be talking about possibly healing, relationships, singles. So it's going to be a great week. There's great things. And if you are not following my YouTube channel, please go ahead, go over to YouTube, look for Tanisha Shanae and hit that subscribe button because we have some great ones over there. I know Facebook, I'm so sorry. Facebook is starting to delete our videos. I was able to actually capture as many of those videos as possible before they deleted them, but they do delete the videos now every 30 days. So if you want to binge watch, go over to YouTube because YouTube is where you can find every video. I don't delete them at all. They just stay there and they just keep on, people can keep on playing them and watching them. But I will be back live the following week. So I can't wait to be back with you all. And for those of you that do sign up for Inspirational Trailblazers, I hope to see you because we have work to do in Inspirational Trailblazers. We got to pump these ideas out. We got to start getting into action mode. So definitely get over there. And what I am going to start to do is the empowerment sessions, and I'll start posting them like on my social media. So definitely take a look on like YouTube on the post. But what I'm going to start doing is inviting people to join the empowerment sessions for Inspirational Trailblazers, but you just won't have access to the recordings, right? So that you can kind of get an idea and a taste for what happens and how does this look, and the kind of conversations that we do have. But in order for you to get access to the replays and any of the handouts, that would come with being a part of the Inspirational Trailblazers community. So I'm going to start giving y'all a little bit of tips, and a little bit of samples, so that you can experience it and then make a decision as well. So that's going to be something to look out for on all of my social media as well. Thank you, Jen. Have an amazing day. Yes. Share them with your friends. Please share them on your timeline if you feel led to. But you all have an amazing day. Have a great Friday. Have an amazing weekend. I pray that the weather wherever you're located, because I know right now the United States is getting slammed in so many different ways with storms, tornadoes, floods. Like even Tulsa right now, I think we have a flash flood warning for tomorrow, Saturday. So please be safe out there. And I keep everyone in my prayers, whether you are impacted directly or indirectly, or your family and friends. But I hope that we all remain safe. But I will look forward to speaking to you all the week after next. Enjoy next week with Wisdom Week. I'm going to coin that, Paula. We're going to put that Wisdom Week. And I'll see you all. And just thank you for being here and spending some time with me in the morning. And I'll be back. Have a great one. Love you guys.